What's the difference between a deadlift and a squat? I had one of my online clients ask me, and it's a great question. And believe it or not, it is a common question. So what's the difference? The deadlift at its foundation is a hip hinge. So what that looks like is the hips are moving back behind you. Your shins are vertical. So a hip hinge is all in the hips. Very little movement in the knee, and you should feel the hamstrings and butt will feel like a stretch. For the squat, you're more moving up and down, and it's going to be more knee dominant. So I'm going to have a little bit of a hip hinge here, but at the same time, the knees are pushing out forward here. So there's going to be a lot more of an angle with your shin here. So notice the difference here. Squat, my butt goes down, and a hip hinge deadlift, the hips go back. Squat, the hips go down. Deadlift, the hips go back. Now with the squat, you're hitting the quads, butt, and a little bit of hamstrings is getting worked just to help stabilize the knee. Your calves are working the squat, core, and upper back. Deadlift, the hamstring and butt is the dominant movement here, the dominant muscles that's being worked here, but you're also working your core and back to keep that neutral spine. Getting started with the squat, I actually really love using a box, especially around knee height, to help you make sure that you're squatting more down versus going backwards like this. So that way when you come down, you can tap your butt on the box, come back up. If you can't squat to that knee level, you can always either get a bigger box, or if you don't have options for a bigger box, stack some plates on the box as you squat down. Now, what we're doing with the box is we're just tapping, we're not sitting. So just a little bit of a love tap. Now, squatting deep like this, you got two things that might limit you from able to squat that deep: hip mobility or ankle mobility. If you find that when you're squatting and you just can't push those knees over the toes as you squat, you have a little bit of an ankle mobility issue. So when you're squatting, just prop up your heels onto some plates. So right here, I have 10-pound plates, heels on top. I'm just gonna squat there, and that's gonna help with the ankle mobility. You also wanna make sure that you incorporate some ankle and hip mobility within your warm-ups. For most of my clients, when starting off, we do start with a goblet position for your squats. Now with goblet squats, the kettlebell or dumbbell is out in front of your chest like this, and this helps increase more core stability and upper back stability here, making sure everything in the upper half is stable as you squat down. Again, notice how I'm going down with the squat, and with a deadlift, you're pushing your butt back as you go down. I hope that answers your question on what is the difference between a deadlift and squat and what that looks like. If you have any more questions, please put in the comments below. I'm happy to help.